Hi, my name is Taylor Dinkel and I attended Prep-Marian High School.
And my name is Trey Kuhlmann. I attend Stockton High School. Taylor and I would like to share our FRS Youth Tour experience with you.
Our first major sightseeing excursion was to Arlington National Cemetery. This was a wonderful experience. Seeing the tombstones lined up perfectly was chilling, and the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier left me speechless.
As we all stood and witnessed the changing of the guard, I had no idea there were that many people touring Washington, D.C. all the time, especially crowding around the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in complete silence and respect.
Following the cemetery, we went to the Smithsonian Museum. My group began at the Natural History Museum, and we saw the biggest gemstones I have ever witnessed and a massive collection of dinosaur fossils. Then we stopped at the National Archives, which housed the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. It was amazing to see the real documents that our founding fathers signed. We concluded our afternoon at the Smithsonian at the Air and Space Museum. Here we saw the 1903 Wright Flyer, Spaceship One, and the Apollo 11 command module.
After the Aerospace Museum, we were picked up by our buses and began a tour of many of the monuments in D.C. We started with the Washington Monument, then the White House. Afterwards, we walked around to the World War II, Vietnam, and Korea monuments, which showed us a significant difference between the victory of World War II and the memorials of Korea and Vietnam. We finished off the trip at the Lincoln Monument, which I have to admit is one of my favorite monuments.
We began our day at Capitol Hill with an educational session and a tour of the Capitol. This time at the Capitol taught me a lot about the workings of the government. I also learned about the telecommunications industry.
At the Capitol building, I learned a lot about the construction, design, and expansion process of the building. Facts such as they did not originally have enough money to build the Capitol building and could not build the rotunda, which is the central area with the dome. And also that Thomas Jefferson added a custom building design, which included columns that were corn stalks. But unfortunately, most of this design was burned and ruined in the War of 1812. But there is one section that remains.
Then we visited the Jefferson Memorial, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, the FDR Memorial, and the Iwo Jima Memorial. These were incredible to see in person. In the evening, we attended an FRS summit on rural America. We separated into groups to discuss various rural issues and how rural telecommunications can help solve it.
I was part of the Agricultural Issues group and talked about the issues before the crowd of other FRS tour members. We talked about issues like lack of farmers, bad weather, and how rural telecoms help farmers communicate. Also how they are used to help when they do not have enough manpower to continue with harvest.
I learned so much from this session, and I was shocked to hear about all of the problems facing rural communities in America. Our final day began with an educational session at the Federal Communications Commission. During this session, I learned about how the FCC regulates telecommunications and how that pertains to my daily life.
Afterwards, we visited the Newseum, which was a museum focused about the news. It was amazing because there were the latest newspaper editions from all around the world in one room. They also had pieces of the Twin Towers and the Berlin Wall, and much more.
Our final sightseeing stop was at Mount Vernon, the home of George Washington. Walking through this historic landmark was incredible and informative. My favorite part of the tour was seeing Washington's dock. The area surrounding the dock was gorgeous, and sitting on the dock with my newfound friends was the perfect way to end the sightseeing of the youth tour.
The experience at the home of our first president and seeing his grave was just like the entire trip. It was an eye-opener that I was in fact in the capital of the United States.
I made many memories on the youth tour, and I'm very grateful for the experience. The sightseeing was incredible and the informative sessions were great. The youth tour awakened a patriotic feeling in me that I wouldn't have found otherwise. But by far the best part of the youth tour was the friendships I made. I'm extremely grateful for this experience. Thank you.
I discovered that I want to return to Washington, D.C. and also reaffirmed my interest in politics. I'm so very grateful to have gotten to go on this trip and make all these new friends and meet all these new people who are just like me with their own rural telecom and a rural background. It was an experience unlike any other. Thank you.